Join me today as we construct another one of the kitchen cabinet kits that I purchased recently for the Beachside Bungalow. Stay tuned and see how easy and fun this is to put together. Alright, so here we have the kit for the 1.5 inch base cabinet, and this is the one with the drawers in it. So we're going to work on this week. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to sort and label all the pieces in the kit so that I know what I've got. When I have them labeled and sorted out, then I'll come back and we will start gluing this cabinet together. Alright, everything is now labeled and I've got it all set up so I know what I need. So these pieces here we're not going to use right now. We're going to put the cabinet together. The basic cabinet needs to be put together first. That needs to be our first step. So I'm going to put out some glue, and I'll probably have put out glue a couple of times. Some glue there. And I've got some toothpicks. And we've got the two sides, and we've got these shelves, and this is also going to be the top. Now make sure that this notch is on the edge with this flat side, because that's the back of your cabinet. This little set in place, that is the front of your side. So I am going to turn the camera off and get glue in all of these notches, and when I get all of these glued, then I'll come back and we'll put this together so you can see me fumble with it. So I'll be right back. Alright, we have glue in all of those spots. We're going to put this off the side because we will need this in just a second. So I'm going to start putting these in. You need to put Come on, what's going on? There we go. Now if you are, I'm going to paint mine, so I'm using tacky glue. If you want to use a wood stain on your piece, the kit recommends, and I agree, that you should probably use a tinted glue. There are special glues made that are tinted, because any place white glue has touched, if you try to use a wood stain over it, even if you wipe it off really well, your stain won't take to that spot. So that's why you need to use a tinted glue for that. Now, I'm going to tip this over. And you do need to have enough glue in your joints that glue comes out. If you don't, it means it's not filled with glue. Things will stick better. But don't put too much in also. Keep some spaces there, so the glue has somewhere to go. Now this piece helps to make sure everything stays nice and stable. Make sure everything is straight. Come on. There we go. And now I am going to tape this because it is trying to pull apart a little bit. We want it to go nice and tight. If you have clamps that you can use on this, that would be a good idea. I'm not sure if I have any clamps that will work on this. I used to have some before I moved, but I didn't. That was in a box of stuff that did not get brought. There we go. So there. That is nice. Now I am going to double check that everything is square, and I'm going to use that piece. Where is, oh, right here. I'm going to verify that all of my corners, that both of these corners are at right angles. That way I know that this is square. Now this needs to dry so that we can glue on our trim pieces that are going to go on the front of it. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, possibly overnight. And then when this is dry, I'll be back and we'll go to the next step. All right, our glue is completely dry, so now it's time to put these front, I guess you would call them trim pieces, finish pieces, onto the front of this piece. I'll get a clean toothpick. And for this, we are going to line up this piece with this area right here. We're not going to line it up with the top. We line it up so it comes right below this one. And we're going to want to put all these pieces on so that we make sure that we have everything straight, because we have the pieces that go across here too. Glue on. Yeah. Making sure that where I wrote the number is going down on the where I'm gluing it, so that it won't show through any finish I put on later. And now we have these 4 pieces here, and they're going to go right like that. So I think I will probably put glue on the back. I'm only going to do one of these on camera, and then I'm going to turn the camera off so I can get this all straight and glued together. And then when I get it all put together, I'll turn the camera on and show you how it looks. So I'm going to just line up all of these, making sure they are completely straight and lined up with the end of the shelves. So when I get those all put in place, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, I have these all in place, and what I did was I took a clean toothpick and I ran along all of these spots and made sure all the glue is out, and that also helps to line everything up. Like that one is still not completely lined up. You do need to have everything lined up. And now we want this to dry. You can see that one's not quite right. And you want to fiddle with this while the glue is still wet so that you can fiddle with it and get these all straight, because our next job is to put our drawers together, and then those drawers in turn have to fit in these spaces just like a real cabinet. So that we have to be precise on these. So I am going to turn the camera off, check it for about the 5th time, set it off to the side where it won't be disturbed, and let it dry completely before I even touch anything near it. All right, this glue has dried and it looks wonderful. So I'm going to set it aside, and we are going to build a drawer. And I have the drawers. Each drawer has 5 pieces, kind of like that door that we did last week. Now, one thing I am going to do, because I'm not going to be putting any kind of finish on the inside of the drawers where it goes into the cabinet. It's just too tight. So now that I know that these are the pieces I need, I'm going to erase all of those penciled numbers that I put on them. That way I don't have to worry about hiding them. I just needed them on there temporarily so I knew what I had. So this is the base of the drawer. There's 4 of these. There's 4, and there's 2 taller drawers and then 2 smaller drawers. I'm doing one of the tall ones on camera. The rest I'll do off. Then I'll show you how we can tweak them if they don't fit correctly and stuff like that. So we've got the base to the drawer. We have a front and a back, and make sure you get a front and a back to your drawer. One has got some shaping to it and the other one's flat. and then the two sides. And for the small ones, they're the same pieces, they're just smaller. They're just, the base is the same, the sides are smaller. So we're going to turn them over so we have this cut inside showing up, because that's where I'm going to put glue. Put glue right there. And tacky glue works really well for this. If you were going to stain this, I would recommend putting at least the front panel on with the tinted glue. I would probably actually do the back of the drawer with a clear glue, simply because normally you don't stain those parts to a drawer if you want it to look more realistic. Because generally in our drawers in our real houses, those are not stained. I'm just trying to run a bead of glue or a batch of glue down those channels that are pre-cut. These make nice sturdy drawers. It's amazing the detail that has gone into this. Now this base, I'm going to put glue on the long sides. The short sides are going up against that part we just glued, but the side panels aren't notched, so. And you need to put the drawer all the way together to make sure it is square. And do this on a surface that you can get it popped off of. This is going to glue itself to my tile, but because I'm working on ceramic tile, that's fine. It won't hurt anything. I'll be able to easily pop it off when it's dry. If you put it onto something that it would stick to, like your tabletop or something like that, that would be bad because you wouldn't be able to get it off. And you'd probably break it. So you need to think about that when you're putting your pieces together. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Once you kind of bring it all together, and it just kind of locks itself in place, and you can see it was stuck to the table, a little bit to the tile, but that's okay. And that's what it looks like. So that glue needs to dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to put together these two drawers just the same way. I actually already did this one just to make sure they were going to go together well. And when these are all dry, I'll come back and we'll do a little bit of fiddling with them to get them just perfect. Alright, so the glue has dried overnight, so almost 24 hours on this piece actually. So let's get this all untaped. See what it looks like. For this step, you do want to make sure all your glue is completely dry on all your pieces, because you don't want to take any chances on gluing your pieces together. So we have this, and it's going to sit like that. And like I said, now this is kind of glued to my table. This is just a razor blade scraper. Just use that, it'll pull it off the table. Now this is the one I think that I did earlier. I had to do some sanding, and that's okay, that's to be expected, because these are really tight. And that one is going to need just a little sanding. I may have something a little crooked. I may have had something just even a paper thickness off, and these are not going to fit. But it's pretty easy. Keep your sandpaper on your surface and bring this to it. So that way you don't end up getting something crooked. It's still a little tight right there. This way. And I like to sand both on the top and the bottom to kind of keep the drawer even. I'll get this one down to where it fits, and then I will turn the camera off and we'll fit the other two, and then I'm pretty sure I'll have to do a little bit of sanding on all of them. God, so close. I mean, I could force it in, but it would be very difficult to get it out again. It feels like it's tighter on this side, so A little more on the bottom. And then some on each side. And now it fits. So now we have 2 drawers that fit, right? This one still fits. Actually size that one for this side. That's a little different. I will go ahead, oh, let's see if these are, yeah, these are going to need a little bit of sanding too. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to get these sanded down to where they all fit together, and then we'll have a look at the finished piece. All right, that just took a couple of minutes of sanding. I will say just do a couple of strokes on each side of the drawer and then try it again, because there's a very fine line between having enough off and not having enough drawer left. You could very easily sand these way too small very quickly. They're a little tight, but that's fine. We want them a little tight so they don't fall open, but we want them so that we can get them open. That way, if we want to put things into our kitchen drawers, we can. So that's as far as we're going today. Again, we will do the finish on this piece when we finish all of the rest of the kitchen cabinets, or at least a group of them. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure and check the blog post. There'll be photos over there, and I'll try and talk a little bit about my process, my thought process of why I did what I did when I did. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. If you have subscribed, thank you. I appreciate every one of you. If you like the video, push the like button, leave me a comment, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.